Today I'm indoors in the studio, but I'm going to make it look like we've got sunlight streaming in, and I might have a special guest.
Ask David Bergman.
Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. Here I am, as always, answering your photography questions. If you've got photo questions, you know what to do by now. You go to askdavidbergman.com, submit your question right there on the site. I just might pick it to answer right here on a future show. You may be wondering where I am. I'm actually at Loft 19 Studios here in Phoenix, Arizona. I'm on the road with Luke Combs, as you know, and I'm here, and I figured I would shoot a video for you guys right here. I've got a good question that was sent in by Jeff B, and Jeff wants to know, how do you simulate window light with flash? Jeff, that's a great question. A lot of times when we talk about window light, we've got this really pretty light. We tell you sometimes if you want to make really simple portraits to put your subject over by the window because it's a really nice soft light that sometimes is coming in from the window. But a lot of times you may not have either access to a window, or you just it might be a cloudy day, or it might be nighttime and you just don't have that kind of light. So it is possible to simulate that look with flash. I am here in a great studio space. I'm going to go, back and shoot this. I just need a model to shoot because you really want to have somebody in here.
I'll be your model.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, look who it is. It's Adorama TV's own Mark Wallace. We are here together in the studio.
How fun is this?
It's crazy.
It's in my little home studio.
There you go, your little home studio. Yep. I like what you've done with the place. Very nice.
Yeah, very nice.
So Mark, man, thanks for having me.
Yeah.
That's so cool.
Thanks for having me.
We are here in Phoenix, Arizona, in your hometown.
That's right.
So I'm just visiting, but appreciate you letting me use this space. So yes, so window light, right?
Yeah, so this means I have to be a model though, right?
You do have to model now. That is the catch. You're here, and so you're stuck. But I appreciate it. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through the process a little bit and see how it looks. Now, really, like I said, the key with window light normally, as we both know, and of course Mark knows, like I said, window light is usually a very soft light. If you put somebody right in front of a window, it's a large modifier, basically a large light modifier. Why is that? Because the light is outside and it's bouncing all around. The sunlight is coming through, whether there's cloud cover or not. Usually it's not hitting directly at that window. Usually it's indirect light, right? Because it's bouncing all around on the grass and other buildings. And then that light is then indirectly hits the window. And then you get a nice wash, just like that, onto your subject. And it's a very pretty soft light. I don't know what it's going to do for Mark. We'll see.
We're going to need a really pretty light to make this work on me.
There's a reason I stayed behind the camera, so for the most part. But anyway, yeah, we're both used to being on the other side. But anyway, what we're going to do is we're going to do that with flash. So let's go back here.
Right.
We're going to back up. All I have here, this is a very simple setup. So we're basically pretending this is a wall in your home. This could be any wall. This is it's not painted any particular way. It's just a white wall, very simple. Very well made here, of course, but you could do this with any wall. And then all I've got on a stand here, this is a fancy C-stand, but even if you don't have this, you could use any old light stand, very simple. And I have on the top of this thing a Canon Speedlite. This is the 600 EXRT. Could be any speed light, any light. This is a very simple setup. Mark's got a nice little external battery pack on here, just so we don't run out of battery power. Now, what I want to do is I want to make this light softer. I want to make it bigger, right? Because you know that light gets softer the bigger it gets, the relative size of the light compared to your subject, right? So we want to make this as big as possible. So how do we do that? Well, you could, of course, use a softbox or an umbrella or something like that. But those are only going to get so big, right? So we've got this wall. This wall is a giant reflector, basically. It's a giant light source. It's not a source, but it's a giant reflector. So if we take this flash and we bounce it into this wall, that light is going to hit. It's going to spread out as much of the wall as it possibly can, and then bounce back into our model, our gorgeous model, right?
Yeah, hunky model.
Right. So here's one thing to think about, though. When we were starting to sort of set this up, if I put this light up and bounce it right at the wall, of course, though, a lot of this direct light is going to hit Mark. We don't want to do that. We want to block that. So we happen to have here in the studio the Rogue FlashBender, all right, which is just a simple little modifier that allows me to block and shape the light. So all I'm going to do is put this around our flash here. Very simply, it just snaps on. It's a very easy way to get this on here. Snaps around the flash, and then I'm gonna put it up like this. Basically, it becomes a gobo where it blocks the light from going that direction, right? And it's only going to go that direction. So I'm going to straighten this up, and then if I raise this up like so, and I'm aiming this right at that wall. That's going to be my window. And then I'm going to ask Mark, are you seeing this flash head at all? Nope.
Nope.
So it's blocking the light from hitting him directly. It's only going to hit there and then indirectly going to bounce back. If we do it right, we get a nice big soft light source and it should look pretty good. So I then have here my trusty Canon R5. This is the mirrorless, Canon mirrorless with the 24-70 2.8. I've got the STE3RT transmitter where he just rolls off the tongue.
So many letters.
So many letters, yep. I'm at 100 ISO, 200th of a second. I'm at 5.6. Really no reason I could shoot at 8. I could shoot at basically anything. I'm just making sure to kill the ambient light in the background. So that is the way that goes, and let's do it. So okay. Mark, move over just a little bit. Pretend you are longingly looking out the window.
So I'm looking here or looking
You're
here?
looking there. You're looking out the window. And we're going to see how this looks. I'm using the eye autofocus, which is going to pick him up very nicely. And boom. And now we can see that frame. That is a beautiful, nice, soft light. And that's pretty much what window light looks like. Here, you want to see? Check it out. There you go.
Look at that.
Look at that. Even you.
Look at this. Very nice and directional. It's very directional.
It is kind of directional,
Yeah.
but it's soft though. And if you're in your home, you may also have some light bouncing around the room, depending on how close the other walls are. So we could play with that if we wanted to. We could put reflectors on the other side and get some fill back in. But that's pretty much how you get that look of that soft light, of course. Now, when you talk window light, there are actually two different kinds, right?
That's right.
as you know. So there's this is the sort of indirect light, but what if the light was actually coming through the window, like let's say it's sunset or sunrise, and your house is just facing the right direction, and the light was streaming in through the window. That's a different kind of a window light, but it's also kind of cool, right? So we could probably do that too. Let's do this if I don't break everything here in the studio. And so I'm going to bring this back down, and what I'm going to do now I want a harder light.
Right.
Because that's what that direct light would be from the sun. It's going to be a very hard light. So I'm going to turn this, I'm going to bend this FlashBender, appropriately called, into more of a snoot, which is going to make, it's like a tube, basically. It's exactly like a tube. And it's basically going to now shape this light. It's going to make, the longer the snoot is, the more...
It looks like a square almost.
It does kind of look like a square sometimes. You can angle it like that. And actually... Isn't it interesting that window light oftentimes would be
a square?
A square because it's...
What are the odds?
What are the odds? We never knew that was going to happen.
What are the odds of that?
There's one other thing you could do, and just so happens, off to the side here, I'm going to take that down for a second because I happen to have a gel, a tiny little gel. It's a CTO gel, which is color temperature orange. It is a nice warm color, right? And this almost is like sunset light, right? As we know, when the sun is really low, it gets nice and warm. So we could put that, now that we've got this all looking good, we could take that with a simple piece of tape. Of course, there are much more elegant ways to put this on. You could use things like the Magmod system, or there are other ones that make this a lot easier. But I stick with this for now. I've got the old gaff tape, and we could simply just tape this onto the front of the flash, and it's now going to turn this light into a warm sunset light or sunrise. I don't get up that early very often. So usually I see sunset more than I see sunrise.
Can I go show them this close up?
You can, yes. So what that FlashBender looks like, and again, by making it into more of a rectangle shape, it's going to look very well done. You could be on like The Price is Right.
Yeah, and this has got Velcro on there.
It does have Velcro and a snap. So we can put that on there, and yeah, I guess we can just Velcro this around like so. Is that stick like that? How does that go?
Yeah, I got to go back a little bit more.
I got to go back a little bit more. Yeah. So this was here in the studio because Mark uses this thing.
I love these things. These are some of my favorite tools ever. Rogue FlashBenders, the whole system.
There we go.
All right.
So now we've got a little bit of light coming out the top. You know what? If I flip this over, we won't have that problem. So there we go.
There you go.
Laws of physics actually working in our favor. And I'm going to snap this up. There we go.
Perfect.
So now we've got a nice long snoot. We have a somewhat rectangular shape. And now, let's see, would the rectangle be more vertical? It probably would be more vertical. But we could do that. Yeah, that's one way to do it. Yeah, just koosh it. There you go. And so now what I'm going to do is move it out here because this is really more a direct light. So maybe come over just a little bit. There you go. split the difference right about there. And what I'm going to do, because these are hard to aim because it's such a tight little spot, I'm going to ask Mark, can you...
I can't see it.
Can't see it. Tell me which way to go.
Up.
A little up. Aimed up or brought up?
Brought up.
Brought up.
Brought up. There you go.
There you go. So like that.
Should be like that. Yep.
I'd rather be a little high because I want to...
It's very high. It's out of the frame. Trust us, that flash is up there.
There you go. Yep. So, all right. But it looks good to you where you are?
Yeah, you can go this way just a little bit. There you go.
There you
now
go.
I can see it.
All right. So now, by the way, I'm shooting TTL, so I'm just letting the camera decide on the exposure for this, for the flash exposure. I'm keeping my exposure settings the same. The flash exposure, I'm just letting it do its thing. So I'm just going to stand here. And actually, yeah, I guess I might want to be on the side a little bit because I want to see the light also hitting that wall. Although that's probably not very natural. But let's see how that looks.
You want me this way? Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm going to come this way just a tad. I'm going to shoot kind of wide because I don't know exactly where this is going to hit. And there you go. So the shape is a little off.
little. That's my fault.
It's a little off. The scoosh.
The scoosh was not squishing
Not
enough.
perfect. But you get the general idea, right? Let's make a couple of frames here real quick. Should we try to fix? We'll leave it. Let me just do a couple of frames here just to get expression and exposure. And, oh, Mark, you look so pretty. Here you go. One more.
We need a, yeah.
There you go. Good. Perfect. So you could see now that looks almost like
a window
light from coming through a window. And again, if we spent more time and really shaped that up, we could make it look like a window.
I have a question for you.
Yes, sir.
Your color temperature, did you change it or did you match it to that gel?
So I'm on daylight white balance.
Aha, that's how it's all orangey.
That's why it's all orangey. If I was on auto or if I was on not tungsten. Yes, on tungsten, it would negate that color, right? So I want the color. So yes, good question, Mark. Thank you for bringing that up. It's almost as if you've done this before.
That's why they call me question mark.
Question mark, but it's Ask David Bergman.
That's right.
But there used to be Ask Mark Wallace.
Digital photography one-on-one.
There
Brought
you
to you
go.
by Adorama. Yeah.
That's, he is the OG. This guy, Adorama TV exists because of him. Anyway, so that's pretty much it. I hope that answers your question, Jeff. That's how you would simulate window light. I think in most cases people would want to do more of the softer light, but if you really want to get cool and make some interesting effects and have it, I mean, you could even, if you cut out cardboard, let's say, and made it in the shape of a window frame,
stick it on there.
just stick it in between the light and the subject, and you could project that window frame right in there. So it would look like a window. So there you go.
Thanks.
Thanks. Jeff, thanks so much for sending that question. I really appreciate it. Remember, you guys can send in your own photo questions at askdavidbergman.com. They're all subscribers already.
But did they click the bell? Have they turned on the bell?
Did you turn on the notification bell?
Have you turned on the bell?
Hit the little bell so you get as soon as Mark's shows come out, my shows come out, you'll be notified. You won't miss any of them. Thanks so much for coming back. I'm here. I'm here every Monday, 10 a.m. Eastern with a brand new one. When are you here?
I'm here twice a month. I don't know which. Thursdays.
Thursdays. So
just either Gavin or me every Thursday.
There you go. They rotate, and then they trade off.
We swap.
But I'm every Monday, 10 a.m. So come back next time right here
on Adorama TV.